Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the video. So here today I'm going to show you how to install and set up this little program that I put out here for you guys, and I just called it, because I didn't know what else, the multi loader base. I'm calling it the base because this is the same app that I use for the Black Ops 2 loader, for the GTA tool, and a lot of people out there use it for a lot of different things. So I decided to kind of configure it and kind of leave it like a blank slate for you guys, so you can put multiple eboots in there for multiple games. You can put multiple menus, sprx menus and whatnot. Whether they're free, paid, doesn't matter. That way, all your eboots to your games, all your menus are all located in one place right here in this loader, and the loader will allow you to just easily install them. So it should make your life hopefully a lot easier, and you guys can even set up stuff where you can share it with the rest of us here online and forums, YouTube, whatever. Obviously, let's get some things out of the way. Obviously, you need your PS3 to be modded before you can do any of this. And although it's not necessary to have a PC, it's a little bit better. Otherwise, it's a little bit more tedious, but you can literally do this all through Multiman and via FTP as well. So I'm going to make two videos. The next video that I make after this, hopefully during the week or tomorrow, next weekend, whatever, will be the more advanced, like intermediate advanced stuff regarding this program. So I'll cover that. For now, we're just going to talk about some of the basics and get you started with the eboots and the menus. So please pay close attention. Make sure you watch the whole video. Let's go ahead and let's get started by installing the package file. The links are in the description. There's also an optional zip file that you can download that just has a couple of extra themes. If you look at my screen right here right now, I have the base loader icon and the background, and I made it just a couple of different color variants. So if you decide to download that zip file, when you open it, there'll be three folders in here. Okay, the blue, which is the original that you're seeing right there, and then you have the red and the green variants, and we'll talk about that in a second. So go ahead and install the package file, and let's move on. Okay, so here we are. I have Multiman set up in my PS3 here. Let's go into File Manager. Then you're going to go up to PS3 Root. You should know how to work all this stuff by now. We're going to go into Dev HDD0. And then we're going to scroll to the Game folder, which is Game lowercase. And then you're going to scroll down to KMZ MUL That's where the program installs to, okay, after you've installed the package file. Then we're going to go to USRDIR, and then we are going to go into apps. Okay, so, and we're going to stay right here for now. Let me go ahead and bring back my desktop here. And right here, I have the program. Okay, so I'm going to do it here on my desktop as though I was doing it inside of the PS. So if you're doing this in the file manager, just follow along, or if you're doing this via FTP, just follow along. But we're pretending that this is my PS3 right here, okay, just so you guys can see it a little bit better. By the way, when you go into the program, before you go into the USRDIR, you will notice the icon 0 PNG and the pick 1 PNG. When you unzipped those themes, this is where they would go. So let's say you open up the red theme, okay, there's the icon, and here's the background pick in red, all right, and all you do would just be transfer those over here and just overwrite them, and that's how you change the icons, all right, and then the stock blue is right there. Okay, so that's how you take care of that. Let's go ahead and let's move on. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and go into my USRDIR folder here, and then I'm going to go into apps, okay? And when you go into apps, the folders that you see in the apps folder are the folders that will display on the main menu of the program itself when you start it in the PS3. So as you can see, I have these three folders there right now. And here they are. I took a picture of the app, and this is the main menu, and there are the three folders right there. You can have up to about 15 or 16 or so different folders, I believe, here on the main menu. And we're going to call those primary folders. The primary folders are are the folders that show up on the main menu of the program. The folders that are inside of these folders, we're going to call them secondary folders. The secondary folders will be what pops up when somebody clicks on one of these primary folders. So in other words, let's say right now I have here, you can see one sprx menus game 1 is highlighted, and here is the folder. So if somebody clicked on that, what they would get would be this. Okay, these two are options right there. Now I deleted the two options from here, but I used to have them there. There were two folders and they showed up right here. So just keep that in mind. And then the third step, when somebody clicks on something in the second page, or when they click on something in the secondary folders, the very next step will always be the install screen, yes or no. Or so the yes or no install screen, which is this. Some of you guys have seen this already. So those are the three layers or the three steps of the program. There's the main menu, which is here, these folders. Then there's the second page. Whenever something is picked from the main menu, that's this here, and that's our secondary folders. And then the third step will always be, do you want to install, yes or no? That's how the program is structured, so hopefully you get to understand it a little bit better. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, and by the way, these folders, I don't know if I mentioned it before, you can just, you can call them whatever you want. You can put numbers in front of them. It doesn't really matter. Okay, when you're making a secondary folder, you always need to make sure that the secondary folder has a prefix in front of it. So in other words, all secondary folders, once you make your primary folder here, all secondary folders, the folders that are located inside of the main menu folders, must start with one of these three prefixes in front of them. You can call the folder whatever you want, but you must put one of these three things in front of them, either all dash, or all dash kex dash, or all dash dex dash. And they must be written exactly the way I have them here. They are case sensitive. What this tells the program is that this file, when it's all, that file works on all PS3s, whether it's kex or dex. When the file is specifically for a kex system only, then this tells the program that the file in here only works for kex systems, which means people on dex will not even see this option on their screen. And then this means the file that's here in this folder only works for dex, and those who are in kex will not even see that on their screen. All right, it won't even come up as an option. Only people in dex will see it, because this program can detect whether your system is on kex or dex. And obviously you don't want people who are on kex to be using dex files, because it's not going to work and they're going to have issues, and vice versa. If you're on dex, you don't want to be using kex files because you may have issues as well. When a file can be used by both kex and dex, then the folder that you make should start with all. That way both can use it. All right, let's move on. Okay, and now finally, inside of these secondary folders that we just talked about, you need to have at least one other folder. And when we go to the next video, when we talk more about intermediate and advanced options, we'll talk more about other folders. But inside of the secondary folders, you need to have what I call a placement location folder. This placement location folder is simply telling the program where to put the file that's inside of it. So when you make these placement location folders, they pretty much need to be named either one of these two things. It'll be named this if it's an sprx menu, because pretty much all sprx menus go into the TMP folder. If it's an eboot, then it needs to go inside of your games folder. So you would call it this. These squiggly lines, which I believe are located above the tab key, these squiggly lines just act as dividers between the directories. So basically here you're telling the program to place this file into the dev hdd0 directory, then look for the game folder, then go into your games folder, whatever that is, just put yours here, and then once it goes there, to look for the usrdir folder, and then place the file there, which is where we want the eboot to go. All right, so I promise this will be a lot clearer once we go ahead and we start doing this hands-on. So let's go ahead and do that and move on to the next step. Okay, so here we are back at the app, and we are at the main menu folders, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start changing these. Now remember, you can change these to whatever you like. You can add up to, you know, a total of 15, 16, whatever. So I'm using Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3 as guinea pigs today. I downloaded one menu for each one. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna change this top one here. And you can follow along, by the way, here. In Multiman, if you're doing it that way, you can just, you know, go here, highlight the folder, press X on it once, hit circle, and then you can select rename and just rename it. All right. If you want to add, a folder, you can just go up here to this top bar, hit circle, and then just hit create a new folder, and that's how you create new folders within a directory using Multiman. All right, so if you're FTPing, just follow along as well. Let's go here to this first one, and let's change the name, and we're going to call it Black Ops 1 Menus, because this is where I'm going to put all my Black Ops 1 menus at. And then we're going to go to the second one, and we're going to call it Black Ops 3 Menus. Right, because this is where I'm going to put all my Black Ops 3 menus. And if I wanted to, you know, make more, I can, of course, make more. I can add a new folder, let's say for Modern Warfare 3, right? Menus. And there we go. I don't have one, but I'm just using an example. And you can just keep adding whatever you want. All right, so there we have that. So here is the Black Ops 1 menu, and it's called the Snow Engine. All right, and when I unzipped it, it had the Snow SPRX, which is the menu itself there, and then it had these two folders, which is KEX and DEX. So when I go in it, it has Bless 01031, and then there's the eBoot. That means this eBoot is for KEX, for those using the Bless version, and then when we go on DEX, there's the eBoot is just there. That means this is probably a debug eBoot, which works for any version of the game. That's one of the benefits of being on DEX. So this tells me that this menu can work on either KEX or DEX, but you need to have the right eBoot installed. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Okay, so let's start off with the SPRX menu. Since it's for Black Ops 1, I'm going to go into this Black Ops 1 menu I just created. Okay, now remember, we need to make a secondary folder, but remember the rule, secondary folders need to start with one of these prefixes. Since this menu works for KEX or DEX, whoops, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the all prefix in front of it. So I'm going to call this folder, I'm just putting it here because I'm cheating. Okay, I'm going to call it Snow Engine. All right, and let me copy this. I'm just cheating, that way I have to write it again. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to come here, and I'm going to make the new folder, and I'm going to call it all-Snow Engine. Right, now I'm going to go into that folder, and remember I need to make now the third folder is the placement location folder. Since this goes into the TMP of the PS3, I'm going to copy the name here. Right, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to paste it. Boom. Right, now I'm going to go in there, and this is where I'm going to put the SPRX. And this is how you do it for all SPRX menus that go into the TMP folder. They will all, the file location folder will always be named this, PS3 squiggly line dev HDD0 squiggly line TMP. And technically that's done. So that's it. So for Black Ops menus, I now have one there called the Snow Engine. And when somebody clicks on that, when they want to use the Snow Engine, the program will then ask them if they want to install it, and if they say yes, it will install right here. Okay, let's move on to the next. Okay, so now we've placed the menu. Now we need to place the eBoot. Now in this case, this menu happens to have two eBoots, right? So let's do the KEX eBoot first. We've already placed the menu. Let's go into the install eBoots folder, and this folder you can call it whatever you want. And by the way, you can have, you know, more than one eBoot folder. You can have multiple eBoot folders. Just remember, all your folders here can't total more than 15 or 16. So this eBoots folder here, we're going to go into it. Since this is for KEX, we're going to go in here, and my version of the game is Bless. All right, we're going to create a secondary folder. Remember that the secondary folder must start with one of these three prefixes. this eboot is designed for KEX systems only. So it needs to start with the KEX prefix. So we're going to call this B01 modded eboot, eboot for KEX. All right, that's what we're going to call the folder. Now I'm just writing it here. That way I could just that way you can see it, and I can just copy. And then when I make the new folder, I can just paste the name. Right now it says all-kex-bo1 modded eboot for KEX. But when you open up the program, you're not going to see the prefix. All you're going to see is the bo1 modded eboot for KEX. When somebody selects it, then they're going to be prompted with the install yes or no screen, right? And if they hit yes, then the eboot will get installed. But we need to tell the program where it has to install to, right? So we're going to go in here, and now we need to create a placement location folder. Since this is an eboot, we're going to use this name here. Okay, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to paste this, and this was for bless 01031. So here I'm going to change this, and again remember it's case sensitive, to bless 010 31, and that's it. Now we'll go in here and we'll place the eboot there. I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Boom. And that's it. We're done. So now this folder is completely done. But remember, we have a DEX eboot we need to make too. Now, since this is for the same game, we can cheat a little bit. All we have to do is go here, copy this entire folder, paste it, and now we're just going to alter the name. Now we're going to change this to DEX, and we're going to come here, and we're going to change this to capital D, and that's it. Now it says all-dex-bo1 modded eboot for DEX. When we come here, it's for the same game, right? So we don't need to change this. If you do need to change it, change it. But in this case, this eboot is for the same game, so we can leave that as it is. When we go here, the eboot is there, but guess what we're going to do? We're going to change it out with the DEX eboot. So I'm going to delete it, and now I'm going to copy and paste the DEX eboot. Voila. Now I have the two eboots here, and I have the menu already set that we already did. And that's it. This is ready to go. If you're on a KEX system, this line, this option will not appear. This folder won't appear to you, which makes sense. If you're in DEX, then the KEX folder will not appear, which also makes sense because you can't use the KEX eboot if you're in DEX. So that's it, right? Now, sometimes what I like doing is for games, I like putting the original eboot here as well. I'll take the original eboot out of the folder, and since an original eboot can work for KEX or DEX, all original eboots work for both. What I'll do is I'll do all, and then I'll type B01, and then I'll put original eboot. Okay, voila. And then you can cheat again. Since it's going in the same directory, you can just copy this whole folder, right? Go in here, paste the folder. Then when you go in, just change this eboot and put the original eboot in here. And then you'll have the original eboot that's good for all systems, and then you'll have the modded one and the DEX one. Of course, not all menus will come with multiple eboots, but this is how you would handle that. And that's it. We're done for Black Ops 1. So let's move on to Black Ops 3. All right, so for Black Ops 3, we're going to do basically the same thing. We already created the menu here, the primary menu, which will display on the main screen of the app itself. Let's go into that, and there's nothing there right now. Now, this menu is designed for DEX consoles only on the Bless versions of the game. All right, so only DEX consoles can run this. So what we're going to do here is we are going to start off with the menu itself. So let's go ahead and do a new folder. Remember, this menu only works on DEX, and since we're creating a secondary folder, it needs to have one of these prefixes in front, and since this is only for DEX, we are going to use the DEX prefix. So I'm going to call it all DEX Jericho Engine. Alright, just like that. And let's go ahead and I'm just doing this here so you can see it. Technically, you know, you can just name the folder directly up here. I just want you to see it better. Alright, so we're going to name it that, all-dex-jericho engine. Then let's go in here, and remember we now need to create the placement location folder. So since this is the menu, it goes into the TMP directory. So we're going to use this name right there. Let's create a new folder, and I'm just going to paste the name. And that's it. Alright, so let's go in there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste the menu. Alright, and that's it. We're done with the menu. Now we need to create the eboots. So let's go into the eboots folder, and this, remember, this eboot is designed for DEX consoles only. So we need to, since we're creating a secondary folder here, we're going to make a new folder, and we are going to call it DEX. We're going to call it B03 modded eboot for DEX. Sorry guys, my microphone fell. Alright, so that's what we're going to call it. Hit copy, make a new folder, paste it, enter, and now we're going to go into it, and we need to make the file, the placement location folder. Since this is an eboot, it needs to go into the USR dir, so let's copy that. Okay, make a new folder, and that's what we're going to call it. Right? Now we're going to go here though, and this one is for Bless version 02166. All right, and then we'll go in here, and that's where we will place the eboot. So I'm going to copy and paste the eboot there, and that's it. We're done with that. Now, if you wanted to create the original eboot for BO3 so you can have it here, since you already made this, technically, you know, you can cheat the system. Just hit copy, paste, right? And then we are going to change this to original eboot. And here, since original eboots work for all systems, we're going to name this all. All right. Now, when we go into it, it's BO3 original eboot. We're going to go into it. See, the directory is already there. The placement location folder is already there. All we have to do is go into it and replace this eboot with the original one. And that's it. And that's all you got to do, guys. The other thing also that I want to mention is that whenever you come across an eboot that you like, that eboot can open up a bunch of different menus as long as you rename the menus to the name that the eboot uses to open up the menu. For example, let's go into Black Ops 1 Snow Engine, right? We use, let's say, that eboot, we like it a lot. We know that it opens this sprx menu that's called snow.sprx. So simply what you'll do is when you come here and you get a new Black Ops 1 menu, we're going to go into this folder. You'll create the menu the way I showed you how, all right? And then when you come here to the file placement folder, stick that menu here, but just rename it Snow SPRX. So in essence, what you're doing is all the Black Ops menus you have, when you go into them and you go into the file placement folders, they will all be named Snow SPRX. Of course, you can only launch one menu at a time, so it doesn't matter that they're all called the same thing. But this one Black Ops modded eboot will open up whichever one you picked because you renamed it snow.sprx. That way you only need to use one eboot for one game and you don't have to keep using all these different eboots. Same thing for Black Ops 3. When you make, let's say, a Black Ops 3 menu, another directory, when you add a menu to it, just bring it over here and you're going to need to rename it BO3-Jericho-Sprix. Make sure that you follow the case sensitivity. And that's it. That menu will open up any other sprx as long as you rename it that. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Sorry this was so long. We'll make the next part that has even more advanced stuff soon. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.